yeah, like give me a fucking highlighter and let's go. Hello, and welcome to the Weeder Life podcast. I'm your host, Erica Weederlight, and I am the CEO and founder of We the Light. I help humans who feel inadequate, broken, self-conscious, and shamed around their sexuality to reclaim their aliveness, their power, and to have a renewed relationship to pleasure while preparing themselves to feel hella confident to date others and themselves. AKA, I'm guiding people to live their #best lives. I have to give you a fair warning. I do unfortunately swear like a drunken sailor, so if you do have little ones by you, just be sure to pop in some earbuds. All right, friends, let's buckle up and let's rock it to this week's episode. Woo! This is a juicy one. I'm like dancing. I'm doing some hip circles. It's all happening. I think I'm feeling the pull in my body that it's like, bitch, go to bed and stop watching the new Game of Thrones until 3 a.m. But also the excitement from my soul that I'm like, I have so much to talk to you about because we've been, I would say freeballing, but we haven't been freeballing. We have been guest episoding for like the past bit, which God bless. We love a collaboration. #collabs. We love a collab. We love a live, laugh, love. We love learning from other people. And can we, God bless, that these guests have been fucking amazing. We've learned so much. We've kikied, like, loved it. Live, laugh, love the whole fucking thing. And I'm like, wait, hi, my friend. We haven't talked in a moment. We haven't had one-on-one time. And it was funny. I was thinking pre-wild and out of guest episodes was, remember, if you're an avid listener, do you remember? You know what's so crazy? Is this episode actually coming out on the 21st of September? No, I think it's coming out the 15th. Do you remember the 15th night of September? But do you remember, the ADD, guys, the ADHD is thriving this week. It's alive and well, which is what we're going to talk about. A little scooch, a little pinch in this episode. But if you're an avid listener and you do this chronologically, is that a word? Chronologically, linearly, you do it episode to episode. If you follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 41. Remember the episode I was doing pre all of the guests? I probably could pull it up, but where I was talking about, like, I was like, I just felt moved to go in another direction. And today I was like, I have to go back to that. Like, I have to go back. I'm very ritualistic and very, it's a little bit of my OCD. It's a little bit of my anxiety that, like, I have to, if I, like, said something, I, like, have to complete it. So I'm like, I really gotta go back to whatever the fuck I said. Meanwhile, like, what the fuck did I even say? But I'm like, I gotta go back to that. And then I'm like, that's not your truth right now. Like, and that actually goes perfectly into what is alive and well. So a part of me was like, oh, we got to talk about that thing that I don't even fucking remember what it was, but we got to talk about it to complete the cycle. And then there was another piece of me that I feel, I can't wait to tell you about this. I think we're going to record this actually genuinely, which actually is perfect for the 21st night of September. Did you like how I said that in beats too? I'm like, the 21st night in September, kickball, change and step. So, like, I think that's because I have, like, some juicy shit I have to tell you, like, personal updates that are, like, stretching me and growing me, and we're thriving and we're also not thriving, but they're good life lessons about receiving and all the things. But I was like, we're going to do that. Like, that's to come probably on the 21st night of September. But what's currently up is not that. What's currently up is flowing, dancing, not genuinely dancing. I mean, we love a kickball change, but, like, dancing with ... being cyclical and allowing our bodies, and we talked about this in the Seasons episode. Seasons up. Why am I in a musical theater mode? I'm like, let me just sing everything to you. Help. But what I'm really getting at is living our life with seasons, but really living in a cyclical way. So I think that's like episode 3, like go into the seasons episode. This is like a little bit of a different flavor. What I want to talk about is, and I might have talked about it with another guest, but if you listen to the money episode, I'm trying to think, but let's just jam. If you listen to the money episode with Eleanor, which was amazing, if you listen to that episode, we were talking about, I was in a phase, or I was in a cycle where I was, and I have like heavy Virgo in my chart, so like, give me a highlighter, let's check it off. I'm not kidding, I have 33 alarms in my phone that go off all the time. It's like, read, workout, pleasure, like literally, like fuck, meditate, sadhana, like all this shit where I'm like, okay. And sometimes like that is the fucking flavor. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, like sometimes the part of me that's like, yeah, first day of school vibes. Yeah, let's go to Staples and get a fresh binder. Yes, let's get that 2 mechanical pencil. Yes, yes. Like that, there is a huge part of me that like live, laugh, loves all over that. Like, and I'm like, set the alarms. Let's wake up at 5 a.m. So yeah, let me tell you my flavor. So one of the flavors is, fuck yeah, let's wake up at 5 a.m. Let's do a baby workout because that's all we got in us. But let's do a baby workout. Let's meditate. Let's do mindset. Let's manifest. Like, just like that energy, which like, love that version of me. She's so fun. Like she could plan a wedding literally in 35 minutes. Like, just the most productive version of myself. And I love her. God bless. Serves such a purpose in my life. And then there's other parts of me, like I am today, who is sweaty AF. My hair looks like I slicked it back in coconut oil, but no, it's just grease. Wearing a full moo-moo, which my dad says I look like 105 bubby. I'm like, listen, thank you. You understand the aesthetic. I understood the assignment. Thank you for getting my vibe. So, like, there's these different shades and there's different pieces of me. We've talked about in the archetype episode. We've talked about in the season episode. But cyclically, we're going to make that up. Cycle-wise, there's a part of me that wants to wake up at 5 a.m. and fucking crush the day. There's a piece of me that right now I'm like, that sounds fucking horrible. You know, like the part that I'm in right now, God bless, I am bleeding, where I'm like, hi, I'd like to lay in bed and watch Game of Thrones with a dash of Housewives while eating a French fry. You know what I mean? Like that's the general vibe right now. And then there's other times where there's other cycles and seasons, I guess I will say, with other different flavors, where it's a mix and match and all of that. And so with the episode with Eleanor, I was like in the like Virgo Hulk vibe, like, yeah, like give me a fucking highlighter and let's go. You know what I mean? Like, and Eleanor lovingly kind of called me out, like, you don't have to be that level of productive. You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to manifest or have a life that you're obsessed with. And I'm like, yes, we need to talk about that more. And that goes into the cycles. Like, we are cyclical beings. And sometimes your friend wants to wake up at 5 a.m. and live, laugh, love, and talk to herself. This is a sidebar, but my roommates when I was living in New York, hey Kaylee, she would pass my room going to the bathroom. She's like, I knew you were up because I knew you were talking to yourself for hours. And like, for sometimes like that's how I jam. Like I wake up, I do my meditation, I talk to myself. I'm like, let's manifest this amazing thing. And other times that's not the jam. Like I said, like currently as I speak into this microphone, that is not my jam. Like not in this moment, not personally, and this is TMI, but it's between friends. When I bleed, you can absolutely go fuck yourself. I'm not running on a treadmill. Like, I mean, so it actually depends on the day in the cycle. But like currently I'm like, hi, I would like carbonara and to scroll through TikTok. Yes, I'm a new TikToker. We'll talk about that soon. So I just wanted to give the permission. I love that Eleanor kind of lovingly highlighted, the toxicity in that, right? Like, so why I wanted to talk about this today was, I know for me personally, if let's backtrack. Let's reverse for a second. I want you to sit with the cyclical pieces, and they might not be coming up, but I want you to just like go with me on this journey and like reflect. And mine are like very jarring, but as you can see, I'm a very fucking all or nothing jarring person. So it makes sense. One piece of me, and there's many pieces of me, but one cycle of me wants to, eat McDonald's. Another side of me just wants to drink green juice. Like, so I love a good polarity. Like, I am jarring in ways. You might be like, I'm not, my cycles are not as apparent, but I'd like for us to like, just like take a moment, reflect. If you want to go on a baby journey with me, whatever you're doing, if you're multitasking, but as we multitask, if you just want to take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, maybe making some sound, maybe twisting your head, moving your back, just like getting into the body. And just taking like this moment to like center back in, get back into your body if you need to bring touch. I know for me, sometimes it helps me if I place a hand on my heart or maybe another part of my body, just to be like, hey, I'm with you, I'm here. So I want you to ask your body / even just reflect on the different cycles of you, right? Like the different versions of you. And I was giving a very basic example of like morning ritual, right? Like, but that could be like different archetypes, different seasons, different cycles. So we're just going to take a second to kind of reflect, and maybe it's not like jarring. Maybe it's there's not much of a difference. Either way, it's all perfect. It's all welcome. And I'm going to ask you, is there a version? Is there an archetype? Is there a season? Is there a cycle that you make really fucking wrong? Does that make sense? Because I know for me, my cycle I'm in right now of let's watch Game of Thrones, be in bed and rest. Ooh, there is some patriarchal, societal, Erica limiting beliefs on top of that I feel a lot of shame about that. So I'm curious what yours is, if any. If there's not, fantastic. But is there any like grips, any shame, any wrongness? That's what I really want to highlight. Are you making yourself wrong for any of the cycles or seasons or archetypes you're in? And I'm curious why. Can we go deeper? I'll give you an example. For me, with this like Game of Thrones, we're really fucking in the Game of Thrones thing, but Game of Thrones, French fry, moo greasy hair vibe, it brings me, I have to work through a lot of shame. Because as much as the 5 a.m. girl is like real fucking aggressive, there's a part of my ego that like so gets off on it. You know what I mean? Like I genuinely do like to wake up at the ass crack. I genuinely do feel great on the days that it feels genuine to me. Like I'm like, yes. But I'm going to be fucking transparent. There is a piece of me that's like, like there's like a little kinky piece of me that is just a little bit of a gremlin and is like, yeah, like, and feeds off of this false perfection of like, yeah, you better fucking wake up at 5 a.m. Yeah, you get that workout in. Like there's a little, most of it's like pretty like, like this is correct. Like this is my truth. And then we got a little gremlin in there that's like, yeah, you better. Like a little kinky, wants to make me wrong, wants to be like, this is what we're going to do all the time. So with that gremlin, when I do days like this, where I honor my body when I'm #bleeding, #freebleed, Gremlin City, she brought her cousins, she brought her family, she brought her friends, and they're all like, ooh-wee. They are judging the shit out of me. They're like, where was your 5 a.m. workout? Where was your 3 hours of mindset? Where was, like she just wants to shame the shit out of me. So why I want us to kind of reflect on our different seasons and our different cycles is I want to see if there's any piece of us that we're like egoically glamorizing? What? We'll make it a word. Glamorizing, that too. Like my 5 a.m. girl. Like I'm like, yes, I'm that girl that's getting that walk. Like I'm like, ooh, it's a little toxic-y. And then I want to see the parts of us that we're making wrong, that we're shaming, of like, I'm an asshole that I ate a French fry. It's like, oh, So I just want to find like where the gremlins are living, where are they rearing their ugly head. And here's another thing too is I know for me sometimes the gremlins are really genius, right? And what I mean by gremlins are they're like the little mean fuckers in your head. And we all have like different people, different clients have different words. So some are gremlins. I have someone call Bertha's back. I used Bertha for a little bit personally. I know another client used Bertha. We have different names for them, but I'll say gremlins. I feel like gremlins, we get it. It's pretty universal. It's the crunchy crawlies, the fresh side of our brain, the ego. You know what I mean? And again, there's all disclaimers on this. Of course, sometimes we need that fear, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You get what I'm saying. But what I'm going towards is the gremlins are genius, right? Like we've had gremlins, most of us have had gremlins for our whole life, telling us we're wrong, we're bad, just like finding the wrongness in all of these situations. So like they've been working for many years. They know how to work it. Like sometimes they're obvious where they're like, you're not worthy. And that's like, oh, I can flip that thought. But like they've been working on overtime for years. So like they know how to like disguise themselves, go with me on this journey. They know how to use things that are supposed to be positive for us as a weapon against us. Okay, mic drop. Go with me on this journey again. We're sashaying into a new journey. For me, with the 5 a.m. girl, and with this work, and I always say this to my clients too, like I have to monitor if I'm using this work, if I'm using a cycle against me, right? Because, it's great that I could aim to do meditation every day. It's great that I could aim to do mindset every day, right? But the gremlins, I've noticed for me personally, have used something that's supposed to be good, like mindset and meditation, as a weapon against me. Because they're like, fuck, you didn't meditate today. Or, oof, you only meditated 5 minutes. You're fucked. Or we could do that. You could do that with that. You could do that with working out. You could, you only worked out 30 minutes today. Or, you ate a slice of pizza. Ooh, and you were doing so good. You know what I mean? Like, go with me. We each have our special sauce of where the gremlins really fucking live, laugh, love. But for me, I notice that I can use the gremlins. They come up and about when I'm doing things that are supposed to be good for me. And again, my clients face that too. Like they're like, I'm not supposed to. I hate that. Let me rephrase that. Let me reframe of I'm doing this work, right? Like I invested in you as my coach and I'm doing the homeworks and I'm doing the things and it feels really good, right? And we're jamming and we're doing the things. And then we get to a certain point where it's like the shoulds come in. Well, I should do this. I have to do this. And that's where the gremlins start to turn around and make you fucking wrong. That's like really the bottom line is the gremlins want to make us wrong. And we can go deeper into it. This is what we do in sessions, but we go deeper into it, why they want to make us wrong. A lot of times, not always, but more often than not, they're trying to protect us. They're just doing it in a little bit of a wonky way. So we're not going to fucking make them horribly wrong, but their purpose is kind of to tell us we're wrong. We're bad, to keep our head down. And again, this can come, we could talk about this for days and days. It can come from assortment of reasons, out of protection, from trauma, fear. They have a purpose. And we have to keep them lovingly in check. Lovingly. We're not going to totally shit on them. But then also we're not going to let them be like, it's okay, just run the show. It's like a firm, tough love of like, hey, baby boo. Hey, baby boo. I see what you're doing. And it's a no for me. Does that make sense? So why I really wanted to talk about the cyclical thing is, point blank, here's the podcast episode, we're cyclical. Great. We have cycles and seasons and great. What I'm really interested with this episode talking about is the shame, the wrongness, the glorification of these other archetypes. Ooh, also, while we're here, let's talk about this real quick. So we talked about, right, like the morning routine, and that's how I'm relating to that is cyclical and cycles. Let's talk about archetypes real quick, right? Like for me, same fucking pattern, copy and paste it. Let's see about you. For me, I have glorified, like for me, the archetypes that resonate are like the goddess. Well, yeah, she still resonates. The, the goddess, the queen, being in my erotic. Like to me, I have glamorized that. And like, God bless, we love that. Like that helps me. It informs me. It helps me make good decisions. But again, this is where I use it as a weapon against me. Because if I'm not in the goddess, I'm a piece of shit. You know what I mean? And like, whoa. Same thing, right? Where my other archetype might be the scared little girl. And I make her really wrong. Does that make sense? So let's also take a baby quick scan. We did cyclical. Let's do this for all of them. We did cyclical. Let's do a baby scan of the archetype inside of you that you really fucking glamorize, that you're like, yeah, that's my best version. And the version that you're like, yeah, I'd rather not people see that version. So who's, talk to me through the podcast. Who are those versions? And they could be multiple, but who are those versions? And let's take a pulse. Are you weaponizing either of them? Like, are you glamorify, why am I loving making up words today? Are you glamorizing this quote unquote higher self so much that you crucify yourself when you're not in it, ? / when you're in the quote unquote more shadowy archetype, do you make yourself really fucking wrong? Again, disclaimer, do we always want to sit in the shadow? No, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't serve us. But I'm not all about fucking bypassing shit. You know what I mean? So I just want to use that. Obviously, I don't want us to live in the shadow and stay stuck in like the anxiety and maybe these like quote unquote more shadowy. I even hate that saying that, but like more shadowy versions of us. I'm not saying that. Like, I'm not saying to like, let's stay stuck there and be like, fuck it. But I also don't want us to be like, crucify and beat ourselves up relentlessly if we are in those spaces. Okay, when we're in that space, let's get fucking curious. Why am I here? What's going on? What's happening, baby boo? What's giving you this nervousness, this anxiety, this fear? Let's talk. So instead of it being an invitation to crucify ourselves when we're out of alignment, let's get fucking curious. Like, let's not make ourselves so wrong. Let's get curious. Yo, why am I in this spot? What's happening? I'm going to be curious. I'm going to have a conversation with myself. There's a reason I'm here. And instead of making myself so fucking wrong, let me get curious. Let me find some answers and let me support myself and hold myself. Is that fair? Is that doable? Perfect. And let's do one more for shits and gigs. You know, I love to complete a cycle. But you know I love to complete a cycle. So one more, let's take one more deep breath as you're doing your thing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Feeling into where the body needs some love, attention, and just taking some nice deep breaths. Breathing in some calmness, exhaling some vibes. And let's do one more round of this. Seasons. Where in your life have you glamorized? And if you haven't listened to the episode, definitely check it out. But the Cliff Notes is, not only do we have seasons on the outside, we also have seasons internally. And that could be sexually, that could be personal development-wise. So an example is, let's say sexually, that's an easy example for summer. That might be, like... pleasure. Like that could be pleasure, boas, live, laugh, loving, and orgasming. Yes. Where winter sexually may be more gentle, sensual. Maybe it's stillness. Does that make sense? So this could be across the board. It could be, and then for personal development, seasons could be seasons of love, could be summer, could be like, yes, like I am doing the personal development courses. I'm live, laugh, loving. I'm saying the same shit, just a different tone. Where the winter may be, or the autumn may be, I'm shedding, I'm letting go. Cool. So talk to me. And we put a lot of cultural / societal influence on what we think is wrong and bad. But I'm curious if yours resonates with that. It's different. Talk to me about like what your glam version is. Like what season do you feel like you should be in all the time? And what's the season that you resist the most? Resist the most, and also you're like, ooh, I feel weird, bad, shame when I'm in this season. Interesting, right? So I'm wondering, this is a little bit of a different direction, but I'm wondering if the season that you found was a little sticky, a little uncomfortable, if we could not make it so wrong. If we could make it right and perfect, that your glam season is fabulous and we love that version of you, but also the season that you resist is also perfect. It's also informative. It's also supposed to be. And we need seasons. We need cycles. I think I talked about this before, but it was so long ago, almost a year. But we can't, we're not fucking robots. You know what I mean? Like, we're not robots that just can be like, and here I go, operating on linear. You know what I mean? That's apparently a half Moira Rose, half robot vibe, but like, David, but we can't just, I mean, we can, but like, hello burnout, hello, this fucking sucks. Like, we're not robots that's supposed to produce the same thing over and over and over. And each season, each cycle, each archetype, each flavor offers something to us. Am I saying get stuck in one? No. But they all are informative. They're all needed for one another. Think about like the actual seasons, right? Think about, I know for me, I'm a big, cause you know, I love a little witchy moment. But I'm like really big into, period cycles and also my moon cycle, if you will. But like all of those different cycles are necessary for me. Like I need those things. And interestingly enough, I was at 5 a.m. whack attack, love her right before this. Like I had that energy, and now I'm in a winter, and I need the winter so I can come back for spring and summer. Like, we need these different cycles. I think we shame, like, I need this version of me right now that needs to like literally watch Game of Thrones and just snuggle with myself. Like, I need that, because when I'm being called upon to do big talks and big jobs and really show up for my clients, I can't if I didn't honor the cycle, because I will be pulling from nothing. Like, I needed this time to be prepared for the quote unquote summer of my cycle. And that means cycle of my life. I also need the fall. I can't just jump right into fucking winter of my life. Like, I need to shed and release and cleanse and let go. And I also need the spring, because it feels real fucking aggressive to go from winter to summer. Like, that's like, wow! So the spring for me in my life, in my cycles of all the things, that's like my gearing up process. Like, it would feel so burnout, nervous system burnout city, if I went from winter to summer. So no, the spring is like, okay, baby girl, we're coming out of the covers. We're slowly doing this thing. It's slowly jamming. We're slowly moving. Da 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 da. Kick, ball change, and step back. You know what I mean? Like, they all are beautiful. They all are needed, and we need each of them. And so, again, yes, I wanted to make this episode on cycles similar to seasons, but really what I wanted to talk about was not making ourselves so fucking wrong when we're in something that we deem not as hot, not as good. I'm not doing my hot girl walk. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm doing my Real Housewives with my French fry. Sit down, all right? So, yeah, I laugh. Anyway, transitioning. But I saw you're going to be like, are you fucking kidding me? So I haven't been on the TikTok, because I was like, I absolutely refuse. And then I got on the TikTok, and I'm an absolute monster. But I lied to myself, and I'm like, no, like, I'm not doing this for scrolling purposes. Again, a part of me that's like a little, don't you know that you're toxic? But I'm like, I'm doing it for educational purposes. Like, I'm getting recipes. I'm getting inspiration, which is like great, but like, stop making yourself so fucking wrong, Erica. But on the TikTok, and LOL, but it actually was true. It resonated. Like what we talked about with Eleanor. There was a TikToker, I don't fucking know who it is. I saved it. I could tell you if you want. And they were talking about different rituals. And with the morning ritual, let's take it for example, instead of always doing the 5 a.m. workout, what would it be like, right? Like, this person did 2 rituals. You can make 5 for all I fucking care. I do care, of course, but it's whatever feels good for you is what I meant. But this person makes two. And one is the, let's go kick our face, pat a parade down the street. Like, that's one, which, yes, loves that. We support it. Yes, there's a time and place. And then there's the other. And again, you can make how many you want. I think two is just like easier, makes life easier. Where it's like, okay, I'm in this cycle where I'm going to maybe wake up a little later, and instead of doing like a full fucking wild workout, I'm going to do a meditation in bed. And instead of doing an hour and a half of mindset, I'm making something up. Maybe I'm just going to do a pleasure exercise in bed, meaning maybe I'm just going to like be in my body, stretch, use my hands, for pleasure purposes, bringing joy into my body. Does that make sense? So instead of having everything so right or wrong, all or nothing, polarizing, it's like, it's just bringing a big yes to all of it. Instead of it being so right, wrong, no, yes, this, that, which for me, I don't know if this resonates for you, but for me, that's a huge part of me that I've had to undo. With so many things. I mean, let's just call it the first two ones that are so easy, food and money, right? Like money is, we see this pattern a lot in money of I'm gonna go absolute balls to the wall and like swipe, Confessions of a Shopaholic, or I'm gonna be in full scarcity mode of like, I'm gonna get off not spending a penny, like it's like, oh. So like that's a theme. I know for me, I've had to deal with this forever and ever. And it's still something I have to work through of food, of, yeah, I'm only eating kale. Wow. Or like, whoa, McDonald's. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, like that all could coexist. It all could be okay. So I don't know if that resonates with you, with food, with money, with sex, right? It's all like, yes, performative or nothing. Just all or nothing qualities. And what this conversation, I hope, has given you is a little bit of a permission slip that you're a full fucking human. You know what I mean? Like, if you're harming, of course, with the disclaimer of don't harm anyone from your, shadow, or, do the best you can for yourself and others. Duh, of course. But you're human. Like, let yourself off the hook a little bit. Again, am I saying fuck it all and never work on ourselves and never look at our shit? No. But I'm also not saying like from like a kinky place of like, you better, you know what I mean? Like, can we give ourselves a little permission to not be so cruel and not perfect person ourselves? Like, can we let it all coexist? That my 5 a.m. girl is just as worthy as the one that wants to lay in bed and watch Game of Thrones. Can I be cool with that? Is the version of me just as spiritual, magical, sexy, fantastic of the version of me that I want to live, laugh, love through New York City, taking S Factor classes, whipping my hair, just as valuable as the one that wants to kind of be a little introverted? I don't know if you knew this, but I'm an introvert. We have to talk about that another day. But like introverted, you would never think, but like I give me 55 days of alone time. I'm like, yes. But like that wild, whoa, New York City version of me is just as valuable as a version that's like, everyone leave me the fuck alone. I'd like to read a book now and drink tea. Like they all are valuable. All these pieces of us are valuable. And I think the core here is stop making ourselves so fucking wrong. And self-acceptance, right? It's like self-acceptance that it's cool if I'm not linear. It's cool if it's not 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It's cool if sometimes it's 5 and sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's -1, sometimes it's this. Like, it's cool that it all coexists. It's cool that I can be all of the different things. And I'm also working towards a life that feels even more deeply fulfilling. Does that make sense? Like they all of it could coexist and all of it is right. I just want to give ourselves permission to stop making ourselves so fucking wrong. It's funny. I want to end in a second here with a little bit of home play, but I wrote down some notes, but I like to jam. But before I go into the home play, I wrote down about this episode what I wanted to talk about. Two things, actually. I'm looking at my notes. Honor what's coming up now. I know I talked about it in the beginning of the episode, like, I want to talk about this and I want to talk about this, but like, there's no bigger gift to, this could probably be a whole podcast episode, but there's no bigger gift than to honor our truth. Like, that's a fucking hot catchphrase right now, right? Like, speak your truth, be your truth. But like, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? Like, or this is a pathway in to speaking your truth, being your truth is, hey, baby boo, what's alive for me in my body right now? What is my truth? My truth is my brain wants me to be going running 46 miles a minute. A mile a minute? I don't know. Really quick. But my body is like, that will not do. Like a no Nanette from us. So us really leaning in and making acceptance for our cycle, our truth, our season, it's deeply profound because it is us living in our truth. It is us making space for ourselves. And here's the thing, and we could talk about this another time, but like, when we allow ourselves to be in our truth, we can trust ourselves. So often I see people can't trust themselves because they don't allow themselves, A, to even know their truth, but B, to speak it. So they're like, fuck, if I get into a compromising situation, like I don't trust myself that I can get out, I would be stuck. This is a fucking potent pathway in. Does that make sense? Cool. So honoring what's coming up right now, boom, bullet point, yas. And also getting around people that support that shit. Obviously, we want to be kind and compassionate and sensitive to other people's wants and needs, but also having a crew around you that's like, fuck yeah, like you need to rest. I support you. I love you. And that doesn't should you make you wrong for being like, oh, you're being so dramatic. Like, oh no, not today. Like getting around people that will like support you and be like, I see you in your needs. Fuck yeah, I honor that. So that's one. We'll do two and then we'll go to home play. So two is, I wrote down, which is interesting. I don't know if it's a complete sentence, but who cares? Fullness of being ourselves and how I shield away from that. Wow. So yeah, this again is connected to the point I just made. Like, if I'm really genuinely like, here I am right here, right now, with the dirty, sweaty hair, with my, schmata on, my bubby gear, ready to absolutely rumble. And I don't make it so fucking wrong. And then I also make the 5 a.m. girl really right. If I don't make these versions of me wrong, that's true self-love. Ooh, we could talk about this too. Shit. Oh my God, all the good stuff's coming out at the end. But that's why you gotta listen to the end. The whole episode. But, I've talked about this 4 million fucking times, but self-love, 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 self-love. But so often I see people self-love, 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 the sexy archetypes, right? Like the royal part of themselves, their higher selves. That shit's easy to fucking love. That shit is easy to love. Can you love the anxiety version of you? Can you love the winter of your life? Can you love the one that wants to eat fucking McDonald's? Can you love that? Again, I'm not saying let them lead the show. I'm not inviting them to live la vie la voca and take over your life and say, fuck it all, burn it all to the ground. But can we stop making it so wrong? Because, right? Because self-love isn't self-love if we only love a piece of ourselves. I mean, that's a great fucking start. Well bragged. Let's celebrate that shit. But if we only love that one perfect piece that's not sustainable, you're going to run into some problems when other creepy crawly pieces come out, and we're going to make ourselves really wrong. Does that make sense? So not only is this work empowering because we're like, oh, here it comes. Here's another cycle. It's empowering because we know what's happening. It's empowering because we instill rightness instead of wrongness. We are more connected to our truth, being our truth, speaking our truth. Yes. And then we're also really genuinely connected to self-love. Because it's not, I love myself. I'm going to put on this face mask, which, God bless, give me love a good fucking face mask. Skin talk, here I am. But it's like, oh no, I love myself. it's so hot when you work out at 5 a.m. You go, girl. And also, you're really fucking cute in your schmata. You're really fucking cute with your sweaty face. You're so cute when your room's a mess. You know, like, can we instill that love, and love might be too aggressive, that appreciation, that acceptance for all pieces, all cycles, all seasons, all jams. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with a tool. What's the tool? I wrote down the tool. I want us to get into a place of rightness instead of wrongness and celebration. And we've talked about this tool 4 million times. But I want you to start to celebrate daily. And, you could message me on the gram, email, and say, this is how I did. Or you could have an account. That's the best. I know people, and I love you guys, are the best. I need to make merch, sweatshirts. But I know people listen to these podcasts in groups, like little like book clubby things and friends. So like if you and your friend listen to this podcast, also I fucking love you. Thank you. We're getting the merch. Hashtag crunchy, hashtag all the shit I always say, like invitation. Get together with them and say, hey, like let's do that exercise, or let's do some of those exercises, Erica. It's like a great book club thing to do. Like let's start to do some of these exercises she talks about, i.e. celebrations. And we don't need anything crazy, but can we text each other once a day our celebrations? And I'm going to invite you, because we love a big celebration, right? Like the culture teaches us, like, I celebrate, I got a promotion. Yes, get that promotion. Fuck yeah. And what would it be like to celebrate on a really small scale? Like I celebrate, I got out of bed this morning and I'm sweaty as can be, and I still made this podcast episode. Does that make sense? So like breaking the fucking story that it needs to be something huge. Like, no, I'm going to celebrate these baby steps, and I'm going to dare you even further. Press another edge. Can we celebrate the creepy crawlies? Go with me. So pretend you are resistant to winter season within yourself. Can you celebrate like, oh, it was an edge for me, but I celebrate. I allowed myself to rest today. Great. Or the archetype with anxiety, instead of being like, I fucking hate that part of me. Celebrate, you know what? I celebrate that today I turned to the piece of me that has anxiety and asked what it need. Yeah. So instead of making it so wrong, instead of fucking putting so much pressure on these things, how can we find rightness, celebration? And if you want to do it with as a buddy or yourself, I encourage you to even go further of, here's reasons why I'm great. Here's reasons why I'm right? Like we don't even realize how we find ourselves so wrong in so many situations. So I'm making myself so right, and I'm celebrating that I recorded a podcast episode, that I rested. And here's the thing I would notice too, are all of your celebrations productivity related? We love some productivity, you know me, but are they all accomplishments? Again, I'm proud of you. I'm fucking screaming in your corner like, yes, you better. I'm thrilled. But are they all accomplishment driven, or are they just me as a soul? Like I'm just celebrating me as a soul, Erica. Does that make sense? So if you can team up with a buddy, fantastic, because then it's some accountability where you just send celebrations. If someone doesn't listen to this podcast, I mean, hello, send it to them if they'd like it, of course. And also, this is like a great time to pitch. Oh, I forgot to tell you about my services. Well, I'll do a really quick pitch and then we'll go back. If you love this podcast, I would really fucking appreciate if you gave me a 5-star. That's my inner perfectionist, but it would be really meaningful. Or 5-star, please. That would be so hot. Or if you want to send it with friends and say, this is a great podcast, yes. Or another option is say, hey, like, there's a podcast. They're like, I don't like podcasts, no problem. You at least want to do the exercises with me. And create your own little podcast book club. So that's some options. And if you don't have someone to partner up with, I'm here. Like, find me on the gram. Find me. This is actually a perfect transition. Find me on the gram. Find me on email. I give away, and if you've listened, I'll make this brief. I give away literally a handful, like baby a handful, because I'm taking on a lot of new clients, a lot of new projects. I brag. Big transitions are happening, personal and career-wise. So I only open up a few slots each month for new clients to come in, and that's like a free, totally free 60-minute consultation. What we do is we do like a taste of a baby sesh, and then we see if we're fit to work together. It's fucking amazing because at least, I could talk about this for days, but I want to give you an opportunity to be like, I jam with her, or no, I don't jam with her. Like, I want you to feel safe, and if it's a yes, get ready, we're about to live, laugh, love like you never had before. Or if it's a no, it's like, great, I had a free session, I moved some stuff, fantastic. So you could do that by going to my website, which is www.wethelight.org. Hit a free call, and we will just cackle the night away. Great. Promo done. So grab some friends, grab some pals, do some celebrations. And what I encourage with the celebrations is you could say like, well done, but you don't even have to go into conversation. It's just like an agreement that you're going to send celebrations to each other. Or you can go to past episodes and you can do other tools with each other. Again, if you don't have that luxury, no problem. I am here. I am in your toolbox. You can reach out to me on the gram at wethelight_LLC or email or all the things. Or yourself. Like, I have to be honest, I talk to myself, literally as I am right now, I talk to myself all of the fucking time, like in the car. So like if I'm like, I can't grab a friend right now and I can't text, I'm driving. Okay, Erica, let's go through this yourself. So I'm like, I celebrate this. So is it great with community? Fuck yeah. But if you have to do it by yourself, all good. Let's just commit to like slowly finding the rightness with you, what's going right, how you are fundamentally not broken. You are fundamentally right. You are good. You're enough. You're worthy. You're a fucking amazing human that I'm obsessed with. God bless. Live, laugh, love. Finding the rightness of you instead of finding what's wrong. Fair? And, because I love a disclaimer, this is not an invitation to bypass. I'm not saying don't look at what we have to work on. Turn a blind eye at what we have to work on and just say I'm amazing. I'm like, say I'm amazing. And also hold the duality of, ooh, it would feel really juicy to look at this part of myself from a place of love and compassion and understanding versus making myself so wrong. Fair? We love a reframe moment. All right. I'm going to let you live, laugh, love, make yourself so fucking right, bask in your celebrations, bask in the cycle that you are in life, wherever it is, whatever season. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pat my face because I'm sweaty as fuck. I'm going to chug a seltzer so it burns my throat. Love that. And I'm going to watch an episode of fucking Game of Thrones because I talked about it for 40-something minutes. And then I'm going to have a great client, and we're going to live, laugh, love. All right, I love you. You're hot. You're right. You're beautiful. You're wanted. You're special. You're needed. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I promise. All right, I love you. I'll talk to you next week on the 21st night of September. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, bye. Thank you, seriously, thank you so much for joining me on today's episode and on this podcast journey. And if you loved what we talked about today and you know another human who could definitely benefit from what was discussed, I would so appreciate if you would go ahead and share this podcast with them. Don't forget, hit subscribe or follow so you never ever miss an episode. And the great news is you can always follow me, my work, my blog, my podcast on my website at www.wethelight.org. And hey, remember, life is so much brighter when we shine. I'll see you next time.